Hello everyone, Johnny Thunder, EAS&Weather here with your Day 1 Fire Weather Outlook. We have a critical fire weather risk area for today covering northeastern Arizona, northwestern New Mexico, south central and eastern Utah, western Colorado, and south central Wyoming for the critical fire weather concerns. Cities in the critical fire weather risk area today include Grand Junction, Colorado, Farmington, New Mexico, Gallup, New Mexico, Clifton, Colorado, and Montrose, Colorado. There are two elevated fire weather risk areas today, one covering parts of Arizona, parts of New Mexico, central Colorado, parts of Wyoming, parts of Utah, and eastern and southeastern Nevada. The second elevated today covers parts of Oregon and southeastern Washington state for the elevated. So there's actually a purple area here. The purple area is where we have the highest potential for scattered dry thunderstorms today, and the brown area is the isolated dry thunderstorm potential for today. Alright? Dry thunderstorms are thunderstorms that occur without any precipitation. Alright? Dry thunderstorms are thunderstorms that occur without any form of precipitation whatsoever. Alright? That's the whole concept of a dry thunderstorm. Alright? You're just left with thunder and lightning. You're just left with thunder and lightning because the precipitation evaporates before reaching the ground. Alright? So you're just left with thunder and lightning. So, yeah. And if lightning hits the ground, it can spark a fire, and the fire can spread quickly. So, cities in the scattered severe thunderstorm risk today include southeastern, the scattered dry thunderstorm area encompasses southeastern Idaho, northeastern Nevada, and north central Utah. And the isolated dry thunderstorm risk today covers southern Oregon, northern California, northern Nevada, parts of Idaho, parts of Utah, and western Wyoming. Cities in the scattered dry thunderstorm risk today include Ogden, Utah, Pocatello, Idaho, Logan, Utah, Twin Falls, Utah, why do I keep saying that? Twin Falls, Idaho, and Roy, Utah. So, the existing isolated dry thunderstorm area was trimmed slightly along its northern boundary to account for ongoing showers with accumulating precipitation and persistent cloud cover this morning. This activity over east central Oregon and far western Idaho will stifle chances for dry thunderstorm rain development later today, as indicated in the latest forecast guidance, and will also limit fuel receptivity. Across portions of the same area, the accumulating precipitation may also prevent afternoon relative humidities from dipping low enough to meet elevated and wind relative humidity criteria. However, the latest forecast guidance still maintains elevated criteria, with relative humidities dipping below 20%, will be met this afternoon over much of the drawn area. Farther south over the rest of the Great Basin, southwest and neighboring areas, the forecast remains on track. Northern portions of the scattered dry thunderstorm area did receive transitory precipitation this morning, but it is not expected to have a significant impact on longer duration showers over areas farther northwest. So, yeah, I'm going to read the synopsis too. So, the previous discussion anyway. So, synopsis. Zonal mid-level flow will overspread the CONUS today, with multiple embedded impulses poised to traverse the zonal flow from the Pacific Northwest to the mid-Mississippi Valley. At least one pronounced mid-level impulse will overspread the Great Basin during the afternoon hours, encouraging surface troughing over the interior west, resulting in dry windy conditions over the Great Basin toward the Four Corners region. Strong westerly wind level flow behind the mid-level impulse will overspread the Cascades, supporting dry and breezy conditions over and to the lee of the higher terrain. Finally, deep layer ascent and enough mid-level moisture, hence buoyancy, accompanying the passing mid-level impulse will encourage high-base thunderstorm development from northern California to western Wyoming. The combination of these meteorological scenarios will support widespread wildfire ignition and or growth concerns across much of the Intermountain West today. So, Eastern Great Basin to the Four Corners region. By afternoon peak heating, the aforementioned surface leak troughing will support widespread southwesterly surface winds in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range amid 5 to 15% relative humidity. Widespread elevated highlights have been continued, with critical highlights in place where guidance shows the highest likelihood of 20 plus mile per hour winds and 5 to 10% relative humidity overlapping for several hours. Across both elevated and critical highlights, ERC should easily exceed the 80th percentile and thus would support wildfire spread. Along and to the lee of the Cascades, strong flow westerly flow along the higher terrain along with downslope flow to the lee of the Cascades will result in 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained westerly surface winds, combined with relative humidity as low as 15% in spots. Stronger surface winds and lower relative humidity may occur in localized terrain favoring areas. Either way, the aforementioned ambient surface conditions and dry fields warrant elevated highlights. Far northern California to far western Wyoming. During the afternoon, diurnal heating, upper support, and orographic lift will all support at least isolated thunderstorm development and amid precipitable water values around 0.75 inches. Given dry fuels and potentially light rainfall accumulation with some of the storm cores, a few shells may be associated with efficient lightning-induced ignitions given cloud-to-ground strikes, warranting isolated dry thunderstorm highlights. Across northeastern portions of the Great Basin, storms closer to stronger mid-level flow may move faster, potentially supporting a regionally greater lightning ignition rate, given dry fuels and a lesser chance for rainfall accumulations. As such, scattered dry thunderstorm highlights have been continued. So, that's your day one fire weather outlook. Stay safe and vigilant in these areas today. If I were you, I would gather supplies immediately, such as food, water, clothing, toiletries, medical supplies, a flashlight, a cell phone, phone chargers, extra batteries, and a battery-powered radio in the event that you need to evacuate on a moment's notice, because fire can start and spread quickly. Please avoid outdoor burning in these areas today. Because all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. Do not throw cigarettes on the ground. Even if they're not lit. Because one, that's littering, which is illegal and unsafe and can result in a major fine should you get caught. And two, all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. And make sure your cigarette is fully out before you throw it away. So, stay safe today, and I will have my day one severe weather outlook very soon. Take care.